We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again. This is a recording.
Okay, I'm going to do something a little fun and different. I'm going to take this and put this on it and give it a custom handle. Now, fair warning, this particular knife is the only one I've been able to find, I've actually been looking to do this for a while, that you can do this to. Do not do this to a knife where this is the main handle. You want a metal backing. This particular one, the silver, is just a pad on the knife. The black right here is the actual handle. So all I'm doing is screwing this little decorative pad on to replace this one. Fair warning, so don't try it with a regular blade knife. I did post a link with the actual model number and everything on the Thingiverse page, and I'll do it in the video link. Obviously, the first thing to do before you even start is take the blade out so you don't hack yourself up. Now, there's 3 rivets and the screw. You need to take the 3 rivets out and the screw. This is a T10 Star Nut on both sides, so you're going to need 2 of them, basically, one on either side, to take it out, which I have over here. Should have had this out already. Now I'm using this little gadget and my screwdriver here for the other T20, whatever I did with it, and I can't find it, of course. You're going to want safety glasses. Put on safety glasses when you're doing this kind of work. Please don't pop an eye out. There it is right here. So you're going to need 2 of them. You can actually take that out first. This is not easy because you kind of have to balance them and fight each other. I tried doing it with an impact. You can, but it's not that easy. As you can see, it's kind of a pain. It would work better if I had shorter T10s, but I don't. The only place I'd actually want the shorts. Now this is going to pop because there's a spring in there. So as you can see, I've got my thumb and my forefinger kind of holding it in place because the spring's going to push it out of there. If I don't bend the belt clip doing it. There we go. Now this is going to slide out, maybe. And there's 2 washers on here, which didn't stay on it this time. There's a washer on either side of it. Make sure you don't lose them. They're still stuck in there. They'll come out with these. Now the hard part now is drilling these out. I'm almost wondering if I can do it from the dome side, but yeah, I've done a couple of them and they all work from this side. Takes a little work, and I will record this, but probably fast forward to a lot of it because it's kind of a pain. On my case, I'm not worried about this aluminum because I'm going to not be using this white aluminum again, so it's not a big deal. So I may drill into it and make a mess of it. If you want to save it, you can do this neater. Get like a Dremel tool and pop it. I just don't care. So you got to be careful because it's going to get metal shavings, which is why you want the glasses. And also notice I've got the paper towel down. Paper towel just helps keep the metal shavings and I believe I've got most of it. Alright, that popped. That would be the spring, which you got to be careful of. There's one of the washers, and there's the other washers. And I got metal shavings on them, so I got to remember to clean it. Hopefully, I can just pop this now. I might have to drill a little more to pop it free. And you can see I'm just boring through it until the rivets come free. And you'll know when they come, they'll be able to pop right out. In fact, let's use a little flathead and see if I can pry a little bit. See if I can just pop it from here. I should be able to pop at least the half free. If I can get under there somehow. There we go. And we gotta start. And you just pull it free. There's one part. It looks like they'll just come out now. So you grab a pair of pliers or something and you just pry it out. And then it won't be easy necessarily, depending on how good of a drill out you did. Obviously I didn't do that great. I can push on it. There's the release lever. That ought to have done it. And there we go. Alright, it's coming apart. Now here's the spring. It's got a little slot in here. Here's the back pad. All that really is a spacer and a holder for the spring. And then your two black pads. These can go away. Now, take a nice fresh piece of paper towel, make sure everything's clean. All the metal shavings are gone. These two washers are especially important that they're nice and clean. One on either side of that head. They actually can be oiled if you want to re-oil them. The spring is right here. Make sure that's void of any metal shavings. The back pad, void of any metal shavings. Of course, I got all my screws and everything here with the metal shavings. That's brilliant there, Tom. That was thinking ahead. So I'm going to take all of this stuff and fold it up, and that contains 99% of my metal shavings. Now we will put down another piece of paper towel, because that makes working neater and cleaner and parts don't roll away as much. So one thing I've learned is paper towel is the ultimate in screw and bolt and nut retainer, because stuff doesn't roll off the table as easy as it does with a regular hard surface like plywood or a regular countertop or whatever. Even one of those cutting mats, everyone builds on a cutting mat. I prefer paper towel. If I had a cutting mat, I'd use it, but I put a piece of paper towel on it, because the texture and the softness of it keeps screws and stuff from rolling away. Not that they don't still. Now these are basically garbage. And it's time for reassembly. So, we need one of these and one of these. Make sure it says Husky out, because there actually is a weird dent in the face here. It's very small, but there is a dent that keeps this from binding. So you need to make sure the Husky is out. And actually the first thing I'm going to do is preset my screws, or nuts, excuse me. So what I do is I take a screw and put a nut on it. Because these are so tiny, I pre-insert them. You just kind of screw it on the screw and then stick it in the hole and wiggle it around and press down, and it doesn't want to stay. That figures. For once in my life I actually sized it right. Usually I make them too small. A little squeeze with the pliers. Make sure it's inset. There it is. And then the next one. You can just glue them in there if you want. I don't really like to. Now in my case, I'm using 8mm long M2s, which are a tad too long, which is good because sometimes it's hard to get these screws to start and it spreads out. So having a tad too long, I gotta cut them off later. I use my little grinder. Now if you do use a grinder to cut them off, you have to be careful because you gotta do it really slow and in little pieces, parts, because otherwise the plastic melts. And there you go. Nuts are set. As you can see, this is a fancy one. So we set that aside. This is the one that goes with that. You match it up. As you can see, they match up. Make sure all your holes are lined up, or very close at least. I got one that's a little off, but I should be able to make it work. And that means this one lines up with this one. And that means everything's the right side out. So the first thing we do is throw some M2 screws in. That went right in. I did size these up size. This one you may not get to stay, because this one will be a fight. This is the last one you actually do. This is the spring. Matter of fact, I can't. You leave that one out. I don't know what I'm thinking. The last one you do. And you set them all in there. Flip it over. Put this on. Now if you look, there's a little slot right here and a pinhole. And that lines up to this. The slot actually holds the spring. You want the spring this way, concave down, so it's pushing up on this when you mount it. So you sit that in there. Actually, you can sit this on there first. Everything will line up. And then you can set this on there. Come on, maybe. And don't stick to your greasy fingers. And this kind of slides in there and it sits down and it'll pop down into the slot there. Then you slide this over this. You slide this on here and you've got the stack. Now, this is the fun part. You got to get everything to line up. You're going to start the screws, but you're actually not going to send them home yet. Just want them started. Because you still have to put the main pivot joint and blade holder in. But you just get them so they're peeking through the nut, but they're still not clamping down yet. And as you can see, I can still move this around, flap it around and everything. So the next thing you got to do, which can be a little bit of a pain, is put the two washers on. Slide them in. Now here's the kind of pain part, because you have to get all of that to stay and line up, which it's not, of course, because it's clean up in the center. Now I got to, oops, go from this side. You want to put the bolt down through the other side. The little nut thing is actually a slightly smaller head, so it doesn't stick up. This one insets into the plastic and also inset into the aluminum. It'll inset into the plastic. Of course, I didn't drill out the hole, so I might have to fight it. And I should have pre-tested the fit. Of course, I didn't. I gotta ream it out a little. Okay, I gotta file it out a little bit. Just a little bit. You wouldn't know I've already done 2 or 3 of these. Yeah, each one's a different experience. I did edit the model somewhat on this one. Trying to make this less. I had it too tight before. And obviously I didn't loosen it up enough. that will go. Okay, let's try that again. Let's get our washers lined up. Slide it into place. Clamp it down. Now there's a little trick, is you can use this to slide everything around in place. Get it somewhat lined up. Whoa, stop moving on me. And that actually, because that's actually a nut. It's a hollow nut, so you can slide the thing down, move it around, and everything's going to be lined up. And then you just kind of squeeze it up in there. If it will. May not. Here's one item. Something misaligned, but I can realign it. Then you have to put this here piece, and again, this wasn't easy, but it's not that hard. And tighten it up. And again, you don't want to ultra tighten it yet. You just want it snugged. If it'll start, it may not even start. There it goes. Alright, so now it's basically holding together. These are all loose. This is loose, this is loose. The only thing left is this one. This is a little bit of a fight, because you got to fight the spring to line it up. So what you do is you line it up. Now this is your jaw that actually stops the knife. So you have to just set it in there, and you're going to push really hard, and you got to put some force in it, but the average person can do it with their thumb, but do it right at the screw hole, and that way this screw will line up and just slide right through. And again, I just hold it up like to a light and look through it to make sure I'm in the right area. You basically just squeeze and feed the screw through. And again, this isn't the easiest thing in the world. As you can see, I'm using 2 fingers here. And I'm going to wiggle this thing around to line it all up. You can actually force the screw a little bit. Don't over force the screw, because they bend, believe it or not, pretty easily. But you can wiggle it around and straighten it out. And to make sure it lines up. There it goes. I think I'm in there. I am. Okay, and this is actually the first one you want to tighten up. You actually want to test this and make sure it locks. And at that point it locks, you know you're good. And you have a nice new whatever color. In this case I have purple with purple. If you can read that, it says country, which if you know who that is, you'll know who this is for. For Walter, because it's fun, and you know, it's just fun. And then we're going to tighten all of these up first, particularly these back two that are holding the spring in the base of the unit. Snug this one up a little more. And then last but not least, we make sure this is all lined up and tighten that up. Now you don't want to over tighten that. That's kind of a lock screwy thing. You just want to get rid of any play in it. It's actually pretty good now. Because it won't turn on its own. I'm going to give it another twist. Yeah, it's turning with it. Change my clicker. Just give it a quarter turn. Try it. Still fairly smooth. Basically what I'm going to do is over tighten it. And then back it off a quarter turn. It's still pretty nice. And again, this all works because all you're doing is trapping the plastic around the metal body. I see that's actually, I had it way too loose. There we go. Now that's a little snug, but actually I think I'm going to leave it there for now because that'll break in. And there you go. You now have a customized utility knife with your own logo or our logo or their logo or somebody's logo on it. And I will put a blank. I do have a blank I put up on Thingiverse. And that's pretty much it. These stick out just a hair. I don't know if you can see that. You can take a Dremel or something, or just take a file. You can almost file those off of the file. Just be careful not to hit the plastic. Be careful not to do it too long because it will melt the plastic, and that just loosens the whole thing. But that's pretty much it. There's your customized knife handle for a inexpensive. Now these are about $5, and this is a Fun in the Country knife in purple because I know Walter likes purple. Let's put the safety guard back on it.